Hello, David Moore with Equity Advantage, IRA Advantage, and I'm pleased to have Art Scevola here with me today. We're talking about life insurance contracts and policies, and it's one of those things that I don't think a lot of us really take a lot of time to think about or want to get into, but it's something of great value, and as we always say, it's a way to keep your money yours and working for you. The only dumb question is the one that's not asked, so hopefully we'll go through, maybe answer some questions that people didn't want to ask.
Sure.
Or maybe they didn't even know to ask. So I always joke that I think a lot of my success in life has been based on just going into things that I didn't know too much about.
Right.
And so people say, well, why did you think of that? Well, I didn't know not to.
Yeah.
So, but one of the biggest things that I look at, and especially going back in life, if we're working on, I worked on the beaches as a guard for years, and we always talk about, one person in trouble's a lot better than two. So you never go put yourself in a bad situation, but it's, learning to plan and work towards those plans. Mm-hmm. And if we look at, if you scuba dive, and I know you dive, I mean, what's the deal? You plan the dive the plan. If you're going to take a trip as a pilot, what do? If you've got a big boat, you're going to, file that plan, you're going to go do it so people know what you're doing. I was on Catalina Island last month, and I wanted to go hike, and what I have to do, I had to stop in that little...
Love that place.
Yeah, I had to stop in the little kiosk there and file my hike plan.
Yep.
Well, why? So people know where I am. But anyway, so why don't, at this point, Art, we've talked about, life policies, good, bad, and the ugly. And I think now we've got to look at and back to, hey, you've got something, what's the value of the plan or planning, and what is the value of it at the end of the day? So would you mind elaborating on that?
Well, my sense of it is this, from the time frame I've spent in this industry, is that a lot of people just don't think it's a big enough deal, so they don't put it in their context of an overall plan. There are those that do, and those are the ones that have what I would call a quarterback advisor, somebody that really is more or less a broadened scope than just a stockbroker or just an insurance person or just a CPA. And I'm not criticizing here, but I'm saying this is really how you get to the most successful plan. You get together the people that have the expertise and that you trust. You put them into if you will, an incubator to look at everything you have. And I think that by doing that, the consumer is always going to come out better than if they took a singular approach. And I say that from especially the life insurance point of view, because it's been my experience, David, that most people really don't understand life insurance, and most of the time they don't necessarily want to, but what they want to do is know that the solution that it was somehow designed for is still valid and affordable and will work.
Yes.
And so our goal is to just confirm that kind of information on the planning team whenever we're brought the current structure of the life insurance. If we're talking to it in the planning context that we've been brought in order to evaluate the need, that's a different species. That's a different approach, and that's where it's hopefully the holistic approach again, where you bring in the advisors that have input in all segments who then can arrive at the most attractive solution in their discipline, in coordination with your discipline and the other person's. And now the consumer, again, is better served than if he or she was listening to the old saw of, well, you don't really need any life insurance, or, why would you go to an attorney for a trust when you can, just do a will, and things of that type. So I think I'm trying to stress the emphasis of, like you said, planning and knowing that you've got a plan will enable more results that are positive. Okay.
Take advantage of the resources you have in your life, the experts that are out there. It's a complicated world, and I think any one aspect demands attention.
And it's a moving target.
Yeah, and it's definitely a moving target, year to year, day to day sometimes. But the bottom line is you've worked really hard for your money, so we've got to figure out ways to keep it yours,
right.
And working for you,
right.
And it's so easy to lose this stuff, and I always say on one of the comments, especially after the crash, it's like I'm always happy to learn things. I'm getting really tired of being taught things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I try to ask the questions or take advantage of the people in my life that know things like
Right.
you today. I
Right.
mean,
Thank
it's
you.
valuable to me to sit here and listen. And next time I've got somebody to ask a question, I say, look, well, I don't really have the details on this. I know this is possible. Go talk to, give Art a call.
Yeah.
So I really want to thank you very much for your time today.
And not to overemphasize me,
Sure.
but I have a great deal of resourcing behind me. My brokerage that I work with, national brokerage, Pinnacle Insurance and Financial Services, on the settlements I mentioned earlier, Asher Life Settlements, and a number of other outlets that have to do with life insurance that I've established over the years' relationships. So you're not just coming to Art Scevola as though he knows everything there is to know, but I know how to find the things that are important when we get into that kind of an engagement. And I thank you for the chance to address your folks.
Well, I think we're all getting exposed to this stuff more and more. If you look at the life contracts, I mean, you're seeing the ads, hearing the ads,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and so I think it's really important that people that have these policies talk to somebody, an independent source,
Exactly.
before they do something that maybe isn't right for them.
Right,
So
right.
it's easy to say, hey, I'm going to do this today, thinking short term, and long term you go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. So,
Right, right.
So once again,
Well, thank
take
you.
advantage of the resources, the experts in your life. And I want to thank you for joining us. Hope you got something out of it. If you've got questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, or you can get a hold of Art with questions or concerns you might have. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you.
Same. Merry Christmas. Thank you all.